Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dynascape's Intermediate Cup. We are now in the semi-finals. There are only 12 teams left in this tournament, and this weekend I think we're going to see 6 more knocked out. My name is Dynascape, your host of the tournament, and today I'm joined by my favorite Fortnite player, Rhymes with a Mash. How are we doing?
I'm doing great. It's always great to be back in the commentary booth. I'm looking forward to kick off this weekend's inaugural match. We've got Timor-Leste versus HTT. And, I've been looking at the stats, and these two are kind of like neck and neck.
Oh yeah, it's like really close. I think both of them kind of share that same physicality. It's pretty interesting. Timor-Leste has Drew the Master and Prongle, who are probably on par with Ty and I Like T from HTT, whereas Sizer and Hook's Eye will probably play like those LN supporting roles. So I don't know. I think their team composition, so to say, is essentially the same. And also, I think it's probably important to mention that there's a bit of history between
Uh-huh.
these teams. It's actually kind of crazy.
I was just
Um,
about to mention that.
no, go ahead then.
Well, these are both returning teams from the Cold Open Cup. I remember HTT was formerly HTC, and Timor-Leste was formerly Eswatini Real. Granted, with some lineup changes, but at the core, that's who they are, right?
Yeah. And
And
so, I mean, Timor-Leste, or I guess formerly Eswatini, was headed by Sajer. Sajer now taking kind of that backseat role, not the captain anymore, just a player on the team. Whereas on HTT, we have Hooksai, also formerly captain of HTC. They met in grand finals of Cold Open Cup. They were seed, I believe, 3 and 4, so Timor-Leste and HTT respectively. And in that match, in the grand finals, Sider and his squad absolutely washed Hooksai's team 6-1, to the point where they came from the loser side, so there was supposed to be a bracket reset. But HTC said, "There's no way we're winning it. We'll give you this one," and that's how Eswatini took the crown as well as Sider. So I mean, this is kind of the one of the craziest runbacks. And honestly, even in the losers bracket in general, there's just a lot of stragglers from Cold Open Cup. So hopefully in the other matches, we can get you kind of like those interweaving storylines. Everything's coming together.
yeah, yeah. This is they meet under pretty different circumstances now, though. This time they are in the semifinals round, and they are both in the losers bracket. Right? So they're fighting for their tournament lives. They cannot, unfortunately, both make it to grand finals. One of them will be out of the tournament after this match.
Yeah, exactly. So only one team gets to survive. It's basically a Cold Open Cup Grand Finals rematch between the two, and the lucky winner of this match will go on to face the winner of either Seed 9 Team U or Seed 18 Team The Swaggers. That one is, again, made up by a couple of Cold Open Cup players on each team. I think it should be mentioned that HTT did take out Skibidi Ryoki Tenkai in losers round of 16, which had Sider's teammate Serbi, who was, of course, also a Cold Open Cup king, and also I believe Lamp was in there too, someone who plays pretty far in Cold Open Cup as well. So I don't know, a lot of crazy things going on, and just in general, this match should be really close. I really don't expect there to be a sweep, even like a 6-1 or anything like that. I think that this could very well go into tiebreaker.
Yeah, I really cannot tell where this is going to go. Yeah, I agree. It's probably not going to be a sweep. However, both teams are coming off of a sweep. Timor-Leste coming off of being swept by Ryan and the Wongs in quarterfinals, and HTT coming off of sweeping Aqua X Ruby Enjoyers in their second conditional in quarterfinals. So they're kind of coming off of different momentums here. Last week, there was a bit of an incident with Sider not being able to make it, so it's hard to say if the statistics are accurate, what's going to go on. The seedings are close, the statistics are close. I'm looking forward to getting into this.
Oh yeah, 100%. And specifically with that match with Sider not being there against Seed 4 Ryan and the Wongs in the winners bracket last week, I did took a little peek at the MP link, and I honestly do think that Timor-Leste could have taken maybe 1 and possibly 2 points against Ryan and the Wongs if Sider had come in for some of those LN maps. I think maybe a hybrid as well. But in the end, I just do not think that they really had what it takes to battle it out with Ryan and the Wongs. I think they would have probably lost either way. And as you mentioned, on the other side, HTT dominant performance against Seed 17 Alpha X Ruby endures in the conditionals, and before that as well in the regular quarterfinals match, 5-1 against Team Anya. So, I mean, you know, like you said, different momentums going on. HTT kind of riding on the high, whereas Timor-Leste was at pretty much a all-time low, especially with Sider being very disheartened by the whole PC shenanigans. So it's kind of like a comeback story for Timor-Leste in a way for this match, whereas HTT still riding on that high or looking to hopefully dominate for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, very, very fascinating matchup. So far the seedings have looked pretty accurate. We've got most of the 10 through or 7 through 12 in the losers bracket, and we've got 1 through 4 straight up in the winners bracket. I guess that's pretty satisfying to see.
Oh yeah, it's really satisfying to see that the qualifiers did a decent job in gauging where these teams are at. And honestly, even in the winners bracket, I don't want to curse anyone or anything like that, but it's gonna be really hard for seed 3 and 4 to make an upset against seed 1 2. It feels like there's just such a difference every time I look at the statistics that are out each weekend. At the end of things, it's like you'll see Ban from 4DM and Dynascape Lowe's French people at the top pretty much all the time. They just have a bunch of players that are insane and also, more importantly, consistent, which is something that a lot of these teams in the lower bracket kind of struggle with. They have maybe like 1 or 2 players that'll take a miss maybe where they shouldn't and kind of drop a point on their pick, and it's kind of like a recurring theme. So anything can really happen in this semifinals match right here, and as you said, with it being so close, I think there should be a decent amount of breakpoints really in this match.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And like you said, 1 and 2 are really dominant teams, but 3 and 4 are also very strong for where they are. Like Ryan and the Wong, seed 4, they've only lost 2 points so far out of all their matches. That's probably going to change this weekend, but what a performance, right? I expect 3 and 4 to come into losers bracket and clean up if they do lose these matches.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it's gonna be really tough for the teams that make it out of the semifinal conditionals and going into the first round of losers finals to face potentially the loser of Ban from 4DM and Ryan and the Wongs, and then on the other side of the bracket, Dynascape Lowe's French Fuel and Cat Yum Dog Yum Rabbit Yum. New name, by the way. But yeah, Ryan and the Wongs only dropping 2 points. Ban from 4DM hasn't dropped a single point yet this tournament. The only team to do so closely enough is Dynascape Loves French People, also only dropped 2 points. I think that was a bit of a consistency check, but then again, Team Token has shown themselves to be very, very good, still in the losers bracket as well, so their match should be quite exciting, whereas Cat Yum Dog Yum has dropped a total of 3 points. They had a really close match with Los Palelas. There's their only match where they dropped points, and that team specifically also is very scary, very rice heavy team, huge skill ceiling as well, so they should be able to scale a lot better into the finals.
Yeah, getting through the second warm-up soon enough. What do you think about the strengths and weaknesses of these teams? I was looking through the stats, and I couldn't really identify anything specifically. What do you see?
I think it's pretty... they're actually really well-rounded teams, and that's, a big reason as to why they are in that top third of the teams that qualified. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, top 12, I guess, out of 32. So, I mean, as I said before in the broadcast, Timor-Leste, HTT, they kind of have that weird team composition where they have two very capable Rice players and then a supporting player that can do LN to cover for the one teammate that can't do LN. So again, like through the Master Prongle, the Rice players for Timor-Leste most likely. I think Cedric might fall off a little bit. Remains to be seen because I know they've been playing a bit of Rice up until the quarterfinals. And then, of course, Ty, the one who is skill banned from Cold Open Cup, but also the reason why Hooksai was able to make the grand finals in that tournament, as well as I Like T, I think should be able to play the Rice in this round. And then Hooksai, of course, we always talk about him just being absolutely insane at LN accuracy, as they're showing off right here at 99.91 on a map like this is no joke. They're just so good at LN accuracy. Now, this pool is, you know, a bit harder than what's presented here, but they should be. They've been putting up some crazy scores, especially in the LN1 slot for the most part.
Yeah, I'm looking at the statistics sheet from last round right now. I'm taking a look at HTT's team placements, and I'm seeing this interesting dynamic where they placed number 2 on Rice 4 and Rice 5, but they placed much lower on Rice 1 and Rice 2, which I find kind of curious that they're performing much better on the sort of like less straightforward picks, like Sprite, come on. Like, that's not something that's straightforward at all. Or, like, Rice 5, or... And then Rice 1 and Rice 2, like, that's just, like, streams. And they're placing much lower than the other teams. I find that really interesting. And then on the long note side, they're kind of all over the place there. They got number 1 on LN1, and then number 13 on LN2. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean... Again, like as I said, Hooksai is just absolutely insane when it comes to release. I think, I believe both of the teammates that played for HTT in Formless Canvas last week had a miss, if I'm not mistaken, which led to them just having a low score overall compared to the rest of the cast. But I mean, if you look at it, they have really good MA comparatively to everyone else. Probably would have been like top 6 if they hadn't double missed. And then I don't know, you know, it's just HTT might be hit or miss in some of these categories, but on the categories that they hit on, they are hard hitters, right? And then as for Timor-Leste, you know, they're very, I guess, middle of the pack currently for pretty much every single category. They don't really have anything where they stand out in, but they're extremely consistent. That is going to do it for the warm-ups, though, so we can finally get on to the protect and ban phase. Mash, any guesses as to what they'll be doing?
Honestly, really no idea. I'm thinking, well, I think Timor-Leste might go for LN, because, you know, HTT's got Hooksai as the ace up their sleeve, and given their previous week's performances in the LN pool, in like something like LN1, can draw some parallels into this pool, and so I think they might go with something releasey to ban. HTT, I think they can just ban whatever they're least comfortable with, honestly.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Where, like you said with Rice 2 and Rice 1 from last week from them, you know, not too hot, and their MA wasn't super great. Feels like they're just weaning off on accuracy a little bit as the pools get a bit harder. So with, I believe, HTT winning the role, with this first protect, I'm not sure what Timor-Leste wants to do. I'd have to imagine, at least on the HTT side, they'd want to protect either Choose Me, LN1, or pull the trigger LN3. And then probably ban Rice 2 would be my guess, at least for HTT. Timor-Leste, I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah. That is really difficult. I've run out of I've run out of analysis.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've pretty long warm-up phase and stuff like that. So
We're just waiting on their protect.
Yeah,
I was hoping they would
when
pick
you're
it
like
so I
in the
didn't have
middle,
to-
yeah, exactly. When you're in the middle of the pack team and you're just kind of like okay at everything, what do you do? So they are gonna protect Rice too. It
Rice too. Wow. Okay.
makes me kind of think like maybe they're listening into the cast, they're taking in all the information, basing it off of that. But if they're comfortable enough, and I do think at least Drew is for sure, should be a good matchup. And then looks like actually going in with a hybrid 1 protect immediately, which is really interesting. Sanji Junahun, really good map. And they're gonna go ahead with
this Rice 5. That's I guess that makes sense. It is kind of similar to Rice 2 in that I remember it having some like camel jacks, like one-handed trills, similar to like the physicality part of Rice 2. So I can see that making sense.
One-hand trills are definitely, a big part of the game in Bounce. So maybe just wanting to take out that, I guess, like wild card pick for lack of a better phrase, where it's one miss and it might be the end of your run on that map. You might give over the point to the other team.
Misinformation being spread in chat.
Okay, so I mean Timor-Leste definitely taking their time with this last ban, and wow, double two hybrids gaining representation in the protect and ban phase, something we really do not see often. So Daylily struck out for Timor-Leste, which is a bit sensible. If HTT wants to go for Sanji Junahun, Daylily some parts play a bit I guess similarly. Seems like a good strikeout for them, so there's just kind of saying that they're comfortable on the rest of the Rice picks as well as any LN that HT wants to throw at them.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to me that we're seeing two interactions with the hybrids, like you said. Like, usually with your bans and protects, you want to ban like some extreme end of the skill sets, like release LN or like the really physical Rice, right? And like usually you can claw your way to chance on a breakpoint on the hybrids if it comes to that. But it looks like Timor-Leste is kind of basing their ban off of HTT's protect.
Yeah,
that's just speculation, but
yeah, I mean it's super interesting. They did take a long time to be fair, so maybe they didn't really have a set game plan in mind and maybe wanted to ban more reactively rather than proactively in that phase. So I don't know, who knows? We'll have to see how the hybrids turn out, because it seems like HTT at least does enjoy a hybrid 1. And interesting enough, going for a Rice pick, so Ty and I Like T gonna be up to bat. Sizer and Prongle gonna play as well. This is the core jack pick. This is 124 BPM, as well as a couple tricks involved, so definitely have to watch out for that. Have to see how HTT feel on a map like this where it's very accuracy based.
Yeah, we're gonna see some core jacky sections. Then he told me that it's evil in the back half, so dastardly and such.
Yeah, I feel like my Spark Notes are the best map full Spark Notes that you can have. So when I write those little quirky things, just know I'm like 100% true and correct.
Surely. I saw an early 200 come out from Prongle, not doing them any favors to drop some attic in the early section. HTT is holding strong. The Siders not too far behind though.
Yeah, everyone really holding up well with these streamy transitions, and as the density gets a little bit more dense, I guess, in in this section compared to the intro. It seems like as things even out, Sidra, Tai, and ILT all around that same accuracy. It's really just Prongle wanting more from them to be able for Timor-Leste to have, you know, a bit more of a say in this match, because now we're in this back half that I was talking about, and HTT finds himself with a 7,000 point lead.
Yeah, I'm noticing Prongle tending to hit early on a lot of these jacks. It's an interesting tendency. I'm not sure if they're being affected by nerves or what, but it's certainly hurting their accuracy here.
Oh yeah, you can see a ton of 200s being dropped with these like weird little one note, I guess, streams connected with the jacks. So I mean, it is really tough to hit accurately in these sections. Oh, it's just so rolly, and HTT just extends their lead, but taking a huge drop.
Oh no!
Things are flipped. The script is now in favor of Timor-Leste as the map starts to close out.
Oh my god!
And it was deadly.
Last second.
Drops twice, and in the blink of the eye, Timor-Leste finds himself with a break point.
That's shocking. It was... wow.
Yeah, no other way to describe it, but wow, those two drops were so unfortunate. HT had it. It was right there. They were at the finish line, but they just could not close it out.
Yeah, and Sidra with the top score in the lobby there with only two 200s. That's ultimately what let them capitalize on those two misses. Because Prongle more or less canceled out I Like T, and then Sidra was able to pull ahead.
Yeah, so big score from Sidra. Again, when Sidra is on, you know, when their computer is working, they are a force to be reckoned with, and really showing it here where they can play pretty much anything. I wonder if we'll see them on more of the physical picks instead of Drew, but I mean, Timor-Leste up a point as well as having this pick could give them some confidence to maybe branch out into any other Rice pick, honestly.
They're going with Rice 3. I think that's kind of a dubious pick.
It's dangerous for sure. I mean, when the inherent accuracies of all four players in that last match pretty much leaned towards HTT for a large margin, picking this map is a bit scary because I think, in my opinion, it's one of the easiest maps to act besides Rice 7, in the Rice pool at least.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Maybe... I don't know. I guess that breakpoint might have given them some confidence. I don't know. I find that if I get a breakpoint on the first point, my head gets kind of big and I start picking stuff I shouldn't be picking.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely acting a fool if I'm up a couple points, you know. The ego is inflated. You know, I can play anything. I can beat these guys on anything, and then, you know, just give over a consecutive breakpoint to the other team. So Timor-Leste definitely has to watch out for that. Sidra and Prongle going to be in for finding this guy. It seems like Sidra and Prongle can still accurately hit these notes better than Drew the Master for now. I think 100% on stuff like Rice 2, Rice 4, Rice 5, we'll probably see them. But Tai and Hookside coming in, so I Like T subbed out for Tai. We're finally going to see why this guy was skill banned from Cold Open Cup.
Me personally, I really like this map. It's like you said, it's not particularly hard compared to the rest of the pool. It's like somewhat rolly, it's comfortable, but it is long. I think it's like an FC is 2,000 some combo, and it's 3 minutes. So while it is somewhat comfortable, you gotta lock in.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's, you know, not really physical. I'd say it at least for your average player, it's probably more of a test of stamina and like mental stamina as well compared to physicality. Just because the Vocal Dump streams are so rolly, and Timor-Leste right now accruing about 3,000 points of a lead, mainly helped by Ty missing very early on. But it seems like the accuracies seem to shift slightly towards HTT, so I wonder if we'll see that lead being cut down as time goes on. But yeah, like you said, I mean, 2,000 notes, we're about a third of the way there, and everyone's already passing 1,000 combo. So, I mean, HTT looking to change things up, and with that accuracy drop from Prongle, finally traded out by Hooksai, things are back to normality, I guess, where Timor-Leste has that slight lead.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that. A miss from both players on HTT is pretty huge. Looks like picking up some more 200s there. I think that's pretty significant. Is that going to be the theme of the match today? Kind of Timor-Leste combo gaming HTT, and as I say that, Prongle picks up a miss, dropping down to 98.85. It's pretty significant as well.
Yeah, that was pretty dirty, and still taking a couple of 200s to boot as well. I think Ty and Hooksai have recovered beautifully from their early misses, and it really shows in their lead right now. About to hit 10,000 points pretty much. Sajer finally dropping a little bit in accuracy. They were leading the lobby by such a large amount for pretty much the entire map, but is now at about the level of Hooksai and Ty. And keep in mind, Ty and Hooksai did take misses, so as we get into this last little chorus, 12,000 points for HTT and Prongle missing again, that's probably going to seal the deal for Timor-Leste.
Yeah, Sajer, the only FC on the board, and holding very strong, not as high AC as Hooksai, but probably going to have a higher individual score.
Yeah, especially with that miss from Hooksai, but it does not matter. In the end, Ty and Hooksai did take, maybe the back path to this win. They did have a couple bad judgments here and there, but at the end of the day, they are going to steal back a breakpoint from Timor-Leste. So kind of that thing where you're talking about, the ego was inflated. They thought they could probably outact them. Maybe Timor-Leste should have checked their team sheet a bit more. Maybe, give it a little double check, because right now it's 1-1 and HTT has that pick.
Yeah. And hey, you called it. We're going to see a lot of breakpoints this match.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way we see 3 in a row, though, right?
Surely not. I mean, do you have any guesses as to what HTT wants to go for? Do they hit their Protect right now with the HB1? Or do they go for something that I think that they're really comfortable on, like LN1?
That's a tough question, man.
My bad.
Man, I don't know. I think they also have like Rice 2 open.
Yeah, they do have Rice 2 open. That's also pretty fair. They've pretty much, I would say, dominated on the Rice picks so far. The scoreline doesn't really show it because it is 1-1, but I mean, it was honestly a choke on Rice 7 from the side of HTT, where I like T-dropped 2 misses at the end. It could have been 2-0 in a more alternate universes than not.
Oh, it's HTT's pick. That's my mistake. I thought it was Timor-Leste's pick. That's why I was thinking Rice 2. Yeah, I think Rice 2 is leaning towards Timor-Leste. I do think it makes more sense for HTT to go for something in the lower half. They're going to go with Sailing Force. I think this makes a lot of sense for them.
Oh yeah, when you have Hooksai on your team, pretty much any LN pick is a good pick for your team. It really just, I feel like HTT has this funny idea where they just have to play around what can their second player do on the other LN picks. Like, which LN is most comfortable for the non-Hooksai guy?
Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward LN pick. I think it's pretty comfortable. It's dense, but it's not too difficult. It's got those really fast, short LN runs. Those are pretty fun to play.
Oh yeah, and there's a bit of a physicality bump as well, I think, compared to the last density map where it was, oh, I forgot what it was called, but I mean, this map is 175 BPM, and although it's not super dense density, it's very quick and it has a couple jacks in the transitions as
Hmm.
well. So as the teams start off, hopefully all four of them can get off a clean FC because that's really needed as we've seen throughout these maps. I mean, one miss and you're on the back foot. There's been pretty much a miss in every single map.
Yeah, I can only expect Hooksai to do really, really well on this straightforward pick. And we're seeing everybody else hover around the same kind of accuracy range than Hooksai, like 3/10 ahead of everybody else.
And it is pretty interesting that they are. It's rare to see them below a 99.7 accuracy. ILT is going to take the first drop, so first advantage over to Timor-Leste by the tune of about 5,000 points. Very, very big for them, and that's really helped by Sajin Pongo pretty much having the same accuracy, just a bit below Hooksai's, and ILT seems to be struggling on this pick right now, 98.9. They have one miss, but really it's the 200s that's killing them.
Yeah, and just like we saw in the stats, I think Timor-Leste is doing great because of their consistency as a team. You see them in lockstep in accuracy, whereas HTT, we've got ILT struggling and Hooksai far ahead, but that's not enough to win matches, But Prongle picking up a lot of misses in that inverse section.
Yeah, I think we saw like 10 misses total from both Prongle and ILT combined in the intersection. So that inverse really catching those players out. It seemed like they weren't doing super hot before, and then just, inverse is that weird skill set. This map is closing off now in 24,000 points as a lead for Timor-Leste. Prongle's gonna miss, ILT's gonna trade out. It does not matter at this point because when all is said and done, Timor-Leste, third straight breakpoint.
No way we see 4 though, right?
Surely not. I mean, Timor-Leste just has to have a good idea of the game plan, right? With, a couple of maps being mowed out of the pool, and we're three maps in, 4 maps in now. Surely they know what to pick.
Surely. Yeah, Hooksai and Sage are doing really well on that map. 20 and 14 200s, and Hooksai with really strong ratio, pulling them up to a 983k.
Yeah, Hooksai beating Sidride by about 5,000 points, but really the supporting characters was the real duel on that map, where Pongo with a 950 beat out ILT by a considerable margin. I think ILT had something like 912k, if I remember correctly, so huge win for Timor-Leste there. I don't think HTT wants to go for kickback based on that idea, but still
Right.
I do think LN1 and 3 are probably good choices for them. Whereas Timor-Leste, we talked about the ego. Hopefully they don't go into anything that they don't need to go into.
Right. And now I think it's right to say, yeah, they can go for some of the early Rice picks. Rice 1, Rice 2. Going with Rice 1.
With the jump stream pick coming out from Timor-Leste, we're gonna have to see who is gonna play on this. Seems like Sadra and Drew the Master are coming in, so we do get that sub out for Timor-Leste. We're trying to see the first appearance of Drew, and then I think this is the first iteration where we get ILT and Tai. So
Yeah.
basically all new lineups. We haven't seen these two on Timor-Leste face these two on HTT. This should be a really interesting matchup. It does make sense as well with Drew and Tai probably being the most physical players on their respective teams come in for this, because at 210 BPM, even if it is straightforward, these res picks are getting really, really tough. And there's enough in this map where it's tricky. It's not super straightforward. There's some funky patterns that really give this map a bit of character.
Yeah, it's got those little trills and flams, keep things interesting. And like you said, 210 BPM is not slow.
But at least for I Like T, it seems like it's just child's play for them.
Yeah,
right
holy.
now, 99.85 off of the start. Oh, and I cursed them to miss.
Oh, it's
but
traded.
Drew is going to trade
Oh
it
my
back.
gosh.
So I think that favored HT way more. Drew's
for sure.
drop was very dirty. Ty hanging on with a 99.6, Sidger 99.7, but Drew dropping again means that HTT's lead is going to be extended.
Yeah, by a significant margin, 15,000 points and growing, it seems. And this time it's HTT with the consistency. Both players, as I say that, Ty breaks and Sidger trades it back. So much going on here. And Drew picks up another miss.
Yeah, it feels like Drew just can't hang on, surprisingly enough. I don't know if it's a physicality issue, them not being warmed up, but I feel like they should be able to really handle these. And everyone hits those funny right-hand flams. Ty does drop in the transition out of it, but I believe no one has an FC on the board right now, right? I Like T dropped early. So, interesting match as it stands, fourth left. We finally get into this last section and 10,000 points to lead for HTT. Can Sidger hold on? Can Drew hold on? He cannot.
I Like T
trades
trades
it out, but
it's
it's not enough.
26,000. Yeah, that'll do it. And what a chaotic pick. And how about 4 breakpoints in 4 picks?
Yeah, 4 for 4, looking like Wendy's over here.
But no way we see 5 though, right?
But it's just surely not. There's no way. It's impossible to see 5 breakpoints in a row. HTT has really honed in what maps they're good at playing based on all of the available data in this match so far. So they should be able to pick the perfect map to counter Timor-Leste and their players.
Surely. And, you know, maybe they should pick Rice too. Like, they've been winning these Rice picks, like you said earlier. And Rice 7, that was a freak accident.
Yeah.
maybe Rice 2 is a good pick for them. They lost the LN pick, you know? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. You won by a pretty large margin, over 20,000 points on the jump shooting pick. Why not just send it on the speed pick as well? There's not too many Rice maps left. We have Rice 2, as we said, the speed map. We have Rice 4, another vocal dump, and then we have Rice 6, the tech map of the Rice pool. So a lot of variation left in these 3 picks for HTT to possibly pounce on. Whereas Timor-Leste, I'm not sure where they're going to go when they do have the ball in their hands. So, yeah, I don't know.
HTT, I think, could also maybe go for their Protect. I'm assuming they picked that based on, like, team scores, like having really good scores on that. So I think that's also open for them. I just wouldn't go back into LN, you know? The data says not to.
And the data is never wrong. So,
truly.
As long as you don't go into kickback, in my opinion, for HTT, LN1, LN3 might be coin flips, but I wasn't sure. I wouldn't be
and
sure.
We're gonna see Rice 2.
Little birdie in the ear of HTT, I guess. You know, it feels like they're picking based on, you know, a couple of commentators in the booth. So maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll lead to a 5th breakpoint. But shout out to Hubert for this custom. 275 index speed is kind of crazy. You know, that back half gets wild.
Yeah, I was just about to say, this map is crazy. It is fast at 275. OD 8.1 doesn't help, and it has so many like one-handed trills. Just like you said, it's like an index style. So it's really, really fast and really, really tricky.
Yeah, like there are a couple of funny anchors. There's a decent
Hmm.
amount of camel jacks at least in that back half run as well. And you
Yeah.
mentioned the OD being 8.1. All the rest have been OD 8 in previous rounds. Hubert thought it'd be funny to make it 8.1 for the chuckles.
That's my guy.
That is my guy.
We're seeing the tale of top half and bottom half. Sider and I Like T high in the 99s. Drew the Master and Ty were in the 98s. Ty recovering to a 99.2 and dropping back down as I say that, of course.
Yeah, that accuracy is very interesting. Things are slowly evening out, at least between Drew the Master and Ty. I think that I Like T has more of an edge over Sider as it stands. But Ty missing. Oh man, here are those misses that we talked about in such a calm part of the map as well. That's not where you want to drop. We're getting into the first like real stream section here. We see more or less accruing a bit of a lead. It's hanging around 3,000 points, going up a little, going down a little. Drew the Master taking a nasty break. 7,000 points over to HTT.
Yeah. And another, down to a 98. Drew's fatal weakness is definitely in that when he misses, it's pretty painful. It's just a matter of whether Drew can hold on to their combo most of the time.
Yeah, 100%. Getting into that last stream section is as abrasive as the others, so it seems like Drew just cannot hang. Sider's gonna drop as well, so no more FC for them. I Like T. Also, no more FCs on the board for any player, but Ty, the only one with any semblance of a combo, is gonna take HTT's team score and carry it home. We finally see a non-breakpoint in the match. HTT punching in 3 points. Decent advantage over Timor-Leste as we kind of cut down the pool a little bit. These points really do matter.
Freaky score from I Like T. SS with 4 misses.
Oh, that's 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 a score of all time. That feels like a core jack score.
Yeah, what's up? Like that is not a stream score at all. Sider with the 1 miss, pretty painful. And yeah, it's a crazy little map, as we saw.
Unfortunately, I don't think Sider not missing would have helped. Just that score difference between Drew the Master and Ty was too large. I think at one point, or maybe even finishing, Drew the Master had a high 97, whereas Ty had a high 98, I believe. So, just that accuracy difference was way too much for Timor-Leste to really overcome, especially when you take so many misses in that back half.
Yeah, and they're going to reply with Hybrid 3. And since there were an even number of breakpoints, we are kind of in a restored state where you are vying for your own pick to win. Nobody's far behind. And we're going into OD. I like this map.
I do too. It's it's a classic. It's a GS4T2 classic.
Yes.
Very, very good Hannah map. Got loved. I urged Lexire to do that, by the way. But other than that, I mean, this is Hybrid 3. This is a bit more of an LN focus compared to the other one available, Sanji Junahun. So we're going to have to see what's going on. I think that Hannah did a good job of having integrated LN difficulty with Rice difficulty, though. So there are some releases, but really the main bulk of it is funny Rice jacks with a long held note, or also just weird flams to kind of confuse you with releases or starts of LN heads.
I mean, yeah, it's a Hannah hybrid. What do you expect?
Exactly.
And like you were mentioning, we're whittling down the pool size, and as we get closer to match point, each pick becomes a little more critical, I think. Especially as you garner more information for your team as you win and lose points. So this pick is where I'd start to say it's really important to pick wisely. You cannot be sacrificing points for your team here. So pressure's on for Timor-Leste.
Yeah, thankfully, even if they do lose this point, it's not really too much of a dire situation because HT would be 2 points off. But, obviously this pick is still needed. If Timor-Leste is able to grab their pick, it would essentially be a best of 5. And as this map starts off, ILT with impeccable accuracy, even better than that of Hooksai, who's known for just their early game prowess. Unfortunately, Prongo is struggling just a little bit, so that is gonna dig in for Timor-Leste and lead to HTT having 4,000 points above Timor-Leste's head.
Oh, an early miss from Hooksai. Pretty dirty as well. Gives Timor-Leste about 4,000 points of leeway to play with. Sidra holding strong. Takes a bit of an accuracy dip there, but through these streams, easily canceling out ILT.
Yeah, that's really all you can hope for, honestly. Sidra to be able to hold off ILT, and then you can pretty much usually count on Prongo to have decent consistency on maps like this. So even though Hooksai does have a really good accuracy over Prongo, that miss really did matter at the start. You will see that 3,000 point lead from Team Red start to go down little by little if things are as is, just because of Hooksai having a better accuracy over Prongo. But it's not a huge amount. There's gonna be a large change needed, and wrong side, unfortunately. ILT does take a miss. Prongo does trade it back. Both of them relatively clean, but Prongo takes a second one.
In the break section of all things. Oh man.
Not where you wanna miss, not at all.
Yeah, as I've learned from Sparky's commentating, it takes about 0.2% to make up a miss. 0.2 over your opponent. And Timor-Leste does not have that right now.
Oh yeah, Sidra dropping on the coordination now lens section, ILT as well. Prongo also took a lot of 200s. Overall, honestly, that trade favored HTT by just a little bit, surprisingly enough. So getting out of that section is just a rehash of what we've seen in the first half, and there's really no other tricks to be found. ILT, however, doesn't
last
like
second.
See, so
lead is waning. It's flickering. Oh my gosh! It goes back to Timor-Leste. Their lead is gaining. Oh my gosh!
No way.
No way.
And yet again, ILT dropping at such a crucial moment in the map. Flashbacks of Rice 7 are happening right now. As Timor-Leste gets that third point and makes it a BO5.
Yeah, and they totally combo gamed HTT there. Both players were below the accuracy of both players on HTT, respectively. Wow.
Yeah, that top half, bottom half battle. Unfortunately lost in terms of accuracy, but won the war. So that's really the only thing that matters. Timor-Leste getting that third point. HTT up to pick. They still have Hybrid 1 available to them. They still have some other Rice picks if they really want to branch out into that. But I think that right now is a really good time to break out Sanji Junahun. You know, you might have lost the Hybrid 3 pick, but you're kind of warmed up on hybrids.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. It is more Rice focused than OD, like you mentioned, and they have been performing better on Rice, but after losing OD and Sailing Force, I don't know. Honestly, I was ready to do like a spiel of analysis about how it was going to be 4-2 and Timor-Leste was going to be like racing to catch up like a tomato.
Like a tomato, yep.
But that last minute switchback, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was crunching the numbers and just threw the papers out the window after that last minute disaster from HTT. So honestly, right now, again, I feel like HTT has been very, uh, what's it called? Like very cautious with their picks. So taking a long time discussing it thoroughly with their team, and they feel like Downer currently is the best choice available to them. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know about anything, man. This is such a bizarre little match, and I think Rice 6 is short. It's techie, right? I mean, it's Terminal 11.
This is exactly. You see the Terminal 11, you know it's tech. So yeah, this is our tech pick of the map pool.
With Drew the Master coming in, and Hooksai and Tai on the other side. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way of just like summarizing this entire match so far, though. It's like, I don't know. We don't know.
The players don't know.
Don't know. So I mean, maybe it's a coin flip, or maybe someone comes out with a dominant win. Stats have shown that so far HTT has had the upper hand on Rice, and Drew the Master so far has really seemed like a sink or swim player, where if they can play the map, they can play the map really well. But when they take those misses, it's just a horrible tragedy, honestly. So what's needed from Timor-Leste is Drew the Master to not miss, really. Side's been very good throughout, where they pretty much haven't. They probably have the least miscount on average between all the players.
Yeah, but it's a tech map with OD 8.5. I don't know if Drew the Master can like pull out an FC on this. We'll see.
And you pointing out that OD is actually really a good time, because it seems like both Saja and Drew the Master cannot really hang, at least in terms of accuracy, but Tai can't hang in terms of the patterning, taking a miss and equalizing things. So it gets pretty scary now, because it feels like Timor-Leste pretty much need to bank on Tai or Hooksai missing in these funkier little techie patterns.
It's a short map, less than 2 minutes. So misses matter a lot more than on something longer. So despite Tai's high accuracy, they just got up to combo cap, and there's only half the map left. So they were hurting their score for a while there. That said, Timor-Leste is only 2,000 points up, and anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, both players on Timor-Leste losing that top half, bottom half battle, and you'll see that, at least in terms of the lead, it's been whittling down bit by bit ever since Tai got back up to combo cap. And as you see more 200s from either player on Timor-Leste, we'll definitely see it switch around. So right now they really do have to play perfectly.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a nail biter, isn't it? That lead is dwindling just the tiniest bit, less than 1,000 points now. Last couple bursts. Oh my gosh. Flickering.
Oh, it seems like they've sealed it more or less off of the back of Tai missing, and also, honestly, Sidra and Drew cleaning up their acts. They had a lot of early 200s. You'll see their 200 count. I think pretty much like 90% of those were in that first half. So they did really well to recover their accuracy and just lock in that lead that they had from Tai's miss. So yet again, another case where HTT takes a miss, and then Timor-Leste, just being so consistent, punishes them for it.
And hey, my fault, Drew. I was doubting you. I was not familiar with your game. He pulled out the FC. He clutched.
Yeah,
props to him for enabling the breakpoint there. Wow.
3 thumbs up from me and Mash.
Me too, yeah.
So good job with winning that point for Timor-Leste. Earned yourself a bit of a lead as well as the next pick. The only question is, can you stop and prevent the breakpoint with the maps available? You have Naked, where I mean, at least true to the other vocal dump in Rice 3, HTT did lose that, so it could be a pick. And then you have LN 1, 3, and 4, which when you have Hooksai on the other team, that's a very scary choice. And then you have Hybrid 1, which was
HTT's
Protect.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Timor-Leste is in kind of a Zook swing right now, but they're gonna go with LN3. Pull the trigger.
Oh, that should be super, super interesting. I can already see it now where Hooksai is slightly beating Sidra on this, but they should be able to get clean FCs, and then it kind of just becomes a battle of the bottom half. That's at least my prediction for this match.
I was basically about to say the exact same thing. I think Hooksai is going to perform really well on this. In your notes you said, I found this easy, but it's one of those maps where you wonder where the act went. And with stuff like that, I think it's about fundamentals, and Hooksai is all about that. So I expect them to do really well on this, and I do think it's going to be another bottom half battle.
Battle of the bottoms, Prongle and Kai. Sidra and Hooksai again. Sidra and
Big man.
It should be again really clean FCs for them. This map isn't really like coordination heavy. It is a wild card pick. There are some elements, but I don't think it'll really catch anyone out. It's just one of those maps where like you can really sight read it pretty easily. It's just that 200 minimization, and actually Tai can be subbed out. Talking about bombs for I Like T.
Yeah, Prongle and I Like T. Hard to say. And we have seen Hooksai pick up misses before, so I wouldn't say it's a guarantee that they will do well. But only time will tell.
That's true. It's just so hard to imagine Hooksai missing when you're essentially stepping into Hooksai's realm. This guy eats long notes. I should have said noodles for breakfast. But I mean, starting off, surprisingly enough, I mean, we've seen I Like T have really good accuracy at the start and then start to kind of dip down as it's happening at the moment. And right now, Battle of the
Everybody's kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
Cider's up there.
Sidra is up there, 99.64. I think took a great in like the first 50 notes and then bounced back way better than all of the other players. It's taking a couple 200s now, but that's not to say that the other players aren't as well. Currently, it seems like Hooksai is matched with Prongle and I Like T. Just not enough right now. 99.1 is leading to 3k of a lead for Timor-Leste. Definitely solvable for HTT if Timor-Leste were to miss.
Yeah, but as it stands, if this holds up, Timor-Leste is just gonna win off like a classical ACK victory. Like, they're holding up very, very strong compared to HTT. Again, that team consistency coming through.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we haven't seen a 4-way FC in this match so far. We've gone through 7 maps, haven't seen it yet. So I wonder if this is going to be the first. And I mean, if Timor-Leste can pull off a victory by this margin on a 4-way FC, that'd be crazy. And I Like T, unfortunately, finding that first drop of the match. Sidra's still holding on to the slightest bit of an edge over Hooksai in terms of accuracy. He dropped a late 200, but I mean, we're getting into the lesser dense part of the course. The hardest part is behind us, and I Like T is going to take yet another miss.
I guess you could call our prediction true. Hooksai is very, very slightly beating Sidra, and then Prongle and I Like T, there's just a world of difference there. I think we have seen a 3-way FC early in the match.
So yeah, I believe actually that other Three-way FC was the first pick of the match in a Rise 7 where everyone had an FC except for I Like T, funnily
Mm,
enough. So again, yet another
interesting.
callback, kind of just like the same motif going on in this match. And Timor-Leste, with that dominant win, finds themselves at match point versus HTT.
Yeah, that's huge, honestly. Not only because of the margin of victory, but because that places them at 5-3. Because HTT is in the danger zone now. Thankfully, they get a pick. But I really don't know where they can go unless they still think Hybrid 1's a good option. And I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, you were pretty sure about Sanji Junhoon, but with more overall wins on the Rice pool, maybe you want to inch towards that.
Yeah, maybe go for the last race, race 4.
I think it'd be a toss-up between that Hybrid 1 or Rice 4, whichever one they just feel like they have the better chance on. I'm not entirely sure what it'd look like, just because Naked is so different from Fire in the Sky, even though they are vocal dub. But then again, Fire in the Sky was pretty close overall for HTT. They only lost really on more miscount, I believe. And so, again, it's tough to say. I know HTT has been very, very diligent in their picks, so it's gonna have to really rack their brains on this one.
We're not giving you clues this time.
Yeah, basically what I was trying to do is not give them any clues, because I feel like they've been, listening along a little bit.
Oh, going for a tactical timeout?
That's a good choice, and a lot of teams really do need to make use of their timeout, especially when you're playing for your tournament life. You are backs up against the wall. You're in a corner. You have to think. You have to make that smart decision. So, good on HET for taking a timeout.
Yeah. You gotta use everything available to you as a player. I respect it.
If that includes your opponent's IPs, then so be it.
Still not giving you clues though.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold off on actually, guiding to HET towards their pick. I think I really just gave them enough where it's really just a toss-up of Rice 4 or Hybrid 1. I don't see them really picking into the LN pool.
Yeah. The tail of the tape says it. They've lost enough LN-oriented stuff.
And especially when your supporting player for LN has been struggling just a little bit. Whenever there's that slight bump in density or you need that little bit more of reading ability, it just seems like sometimes I Like T falls a little bit flat, at least compared to Prongle. Still very good scores overall, but when you're facing the consistency juggernaut of Timor-Leste, that extra bit is needed, really.
You think the situation is expected based on the information you had at the start of the match? Would you have said a 5-3 right now is believable?
I probably wouldn't have counted it out. I don't think if you really pestered me, that would have been the scoreline 8 maps in. But, again, I think Timor-Leste got pretty lucky with a couple of maps. They had Tencent Min Ritai fall apart for HET.
Yeah.
And, Timor-Leste was able to snag that point. Fire in the Sky was pretty close. And I believe Okashi was pretty close as well. So, there are a lot of maps here where, Team Red should be pretty thankful for, because It
Yeah.
feels like by the grace of God, they just slid their way into a lead of 5-3. But that that shouldn't discount their efforts at all. Sure, the HTT had misses on their part, but it's because Timor-Leste had good team scores overall. It was able to, they were able to overcome the accuracy difference by lessening the misses.
Yeah, I think it's funny to call points like lucky, like on one hand, sure, like it feels lucky, but on the other hand, this is a pure skill game. There really isn't that much luck involved unless you count like very like edge cases.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, there's that variance of your runs. You have like usually a set MA and grade count on a map, and you can have a better 200 count, 300 count, or like misses or whatever, but they're not gonna be super different from like the aggregate of your practice runs usually.
Yeah, and we do get the verdict. They are gonna go back to their Protect Hybrid 1 Sanji Junihun. Me personally, I would have gone with Rice 4. Didn't want to say that, but that's where I would have gone if I were in this position. And granted, I don't have all the information, but that's just me.
That I'm glad we have kind of like the devil's advocate here, right? We're telling them maybe you should go in for Rice 4. I'd love for HTT to be able to spit that out back into your face and keep this match going on, because this really has been such a great match to start off the semifinals weekend.
Yeah.
So I mean, Hooksai and ILT gonna be the ones to try and save their tournament lives. Timor-Leste, Sizer and Prongle looking to finish it off and once again try to beat that core of Hooksai and Tai.
Yeah, I will gladly accept being wrong. I mean, I don't think it's a bad pick to go with Hybrid 1, only time will tell. And after this, it is Timor-Leste's pick, and I doubt they will pick Rice 4, so, no takesies backsies.
No takesies backsies at all. Yeah, I mean, if HTT wins this, Timor-Leste probably gonna have to go for an outland pick. And right now, HTT has the slightest bit of a lead. Obviously, helped by the fact that ILT and Hooksai just have really good starting accuracies. But really, we haven't reached the main difficulty of the map. There's just so many other twisted patterns in this map for you to choke on.
Yeah, every bit of accuracy counts, though. And that first quarter certainly didn't hurt them. It is flickering in this second quarter, though. I feel like someone's gonna drop soon, and I can't tell who.
Oh no!
Oh no! My apologies.
Hooksai dropping again, like in a more of a calm section, and yet again as well, this is not looking good for HTT. Thankfully, there are a couple of patterns, in this section for maybe Timor-Leste to drop accuracy on, or maybe even a miss. However, both players on the red team hold strong in that little key eye. We get back into more of a break section. Hooksai finally back up to the combo cap. Abrasive streams, and ILT actually drops on those streams. I can't really blame them. Those are really, like you said, cruel at the end of it. But I mean, it's not looking too good right now, Mash.
Yeah. In my heart of hearts, I was rooting for HTT to win this pick, but
100%.
I don't know. 16,000 points is a lot. And this part was like their opportunity to claw back a little. If they hadn't missed, they would be gaining right now because of their early game act.
If there's one savior in this map, it's that left-hand Elantrill and the end stream. So I cannot discount HTT from making a comeback yet. It's still entirely possible for them. We're just gonna have to see how Sizer and Pongo do, because it's coming up right now.
Oh, everybody hits
Aced
it.
it.
Dang. Oh, and another miss from I Like T. Just to seal the deal.
Yeah, bit of insult to injury. Unfortunately for HTT, that is going to be the end of the run in the Dynascape's Intermediate Cup. It was so fun seeing them play, and this was such a good match.
Yeah.
Super tragic that they had to go out like this. And again, Hookseye and I Like T having better accuracy than their opponents on the other
Hmm.
side of the screen. It's just when you face super consistent people, maybe the act isn't needed. It's just the miss minimization.
Yeah.
And Timor-Leste really does have that skill set.
Yeah, it was a really, really great game to watch. And I think everybody did really, really well. Everybody had points where they, like clutched up.
Oh man, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this match. Congratulations to Timor-Leste for winning against HTT, getting the upset as well. So they are gonna face either the winner of Team U or Team the Swaggers. That is seed 9 versus 18. That should be a pretty fun matchup for them later on this weekend. And of course, again, they got the Cold Open Cup run back, and yet again proved their dominance over this core. So very cool match. Both, not only just the match itself, but like the storyline leading up to it.
Yeah. Great game. Great plays, everybody.
Couple more matches. Obviously this is the first match of the weekend, so we do have a decent block. As you can see, 8 and 9 hours from now, we have 4 matches. So double headers for you guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned for those, because I believe 2 of them are actually the only 2 winners bracket matches. So you really don't want to miss those. But that is unfortunately gonna do it for us for now. This was a very, very early match in the weekend. So we hope you guys can tune in for the others, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.